Good afternoon, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of Wrestle Talk Show. I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here to bring you the latest and greatest professional wrestling news, follow-ups to some stories we broke this week, bits, rumors, anything and everything WWE, TNA, ROH, independents, pro wrestling, independent wrestling, anything and everything wrestling. You've found the place that we do it right here at Wrestle Talk Show. Like we always do, we want to thank our audience. Without your viewership, this would not be possible. You make this fun. You make this worth doing. We appreciate the 48-hour response we got on our April 12th video, rather. So far, it's in the 2 days, it's gained about 90 views in 48 hours, so that's not bad at all. We want to again encourage you to visit that video and every other video at youtube.com/CWE Company. Interact with the videos, respond to the videos. I take all feedback back. The video got a lot of good, the most recent video got a lot of good feedback about Edge's retirement and how it's good to see a wrestler walk out on their own terms rather than being forced out of the business. And that'll be what our segment is, just to highlight it real quick. We'll recap what you think's better, and we'll weigh the pros and cons a little bit. As we've been saying over the last two videos, if you made that much money, would you be inclined to leave the business so quickly for a minimal amount of work, but yes, definite wear and tear on the body? If you're in WWE, there's a bigger road schedule than there is in TNA. That's why 3/4 of them go to TNA. The wrestling may suck, but they don't travel much, so it's easier to perform and heal, I would think, at the same time. But we'll get into that in today's segment. First and foremost, let's go over your wrestling ratings. Some we broke over the WrestleMania weekend when we did that roundup show, and others we've waited on. But here's the whole rundown. Monday Night Raw this past Monday, the April 11th, scored a 3.5. Sci-Fi's WWE Friday Night SmackDown on the 8th scored a 2.1 cable rating. WWE Toughen Up down slightly from its debut at a 1.8 viewership rating. And the April 7th edition of TNA Impact scored a 1.2 cable rating. The last airing in the U.S. of WWE Superstars scored its usual 0.6 cable rating. Goodbye, Superstars. Not many of us got you while you were on the air, but not many of us watched you while you were on the air, so I think it's safe to say that the U.S. can live without this program. It's pretty bad when it debuts and your cable provider hasn't even picked it up. It kind of shows you the popularity, and maybe something else we'll discuss. I mean, WG in America was kind of blatant about why they dropped it, so I mean, we can throw that around towards the end of the show, but I think it's been brought up enough. But we'll recap it, and put a question out there for the forums or whatever. But moving on, in our show, we're reporting improvements every 2 days. Total page views of all videos. Remember, 100 plus videos available at youtube.com/CWE Company. Our total page views, 6,380 as of today, right before this vidcast was recorded. The male audience holds 94% of the overall audience, while the females are a bit down from their usual 7 to 11% at 6% of the total overall audience. Although I complained about it 2 days ago and tried to justify it, the demographics came out a little more balanced. The 45 to 54-year-old demographic that we've been debating the last 2 days still holds in excess of 50% of the overall audience of the show. Second place is the 25 to 34-year-old demographic, holding 22% of the audience of the show. And leading up the rears, where the show appears to need improvement, but like I said, these rankings generate every 24 hours, so tomorrow or later tonight, it could be completely backwards. But it shows, as of right before this recording, that the 18 to 24-year-old demographic holds 20%, just about 20% of our audience. Moving on to your wrestling news, WWE takes wrestling out of the company name. The new business model will refer to the company just as WWE, and in a press release stated that the brand change expansion contains two key components to obtain new entertainment companies and new television products, including scripted and non-scripted and animated series of wrestling entertainment products. Vince is quoted as saying, "We wish to be a global entertainment company, new entertainment concepts in and with new entertainment concepts in and out of the ring." This could be a double. I forgot about this one. This could be a deuce of a segment because, wow, way to be ashamed of wrestling. You make your we'll come back to it. But you make your millions in wrestling, and now because you have contracts with Mattel and Kmart and all of them family-friendly companies, and I guess to change with the times. I mean, do they not get that if they made the wrestling more interesting, you wouldn't have to have these mergers? If you made this, if you dummied down the storytelling process that we've echoed on every other video almost, that you wouldn't need to come up with these new concepts because people would actually like the product. You don't need to be an all-around entertainment company to make wrestling fun. And when you want to take wrestling and refer to your company just as WWE so you can buy other entertainment companies and your concepts pertain to in and out of the ring, well, quite frankly, I'm not interested in what's out of the ring. I mean, don't get me wrong, Make-A-Wish and all that happy stuff is fun, but those are the kind of things you want to talk about, not WWE presents the World Wrestling Entertainment, or forgive me, WWE presents the WWE Fashion Show. I mean, it's almost like saying, we're going to scrap wrestling because that's not where the money is anymore, even though it's our fault that it's not where the money is anymore, because people are bored with us and turn the channel to Jersey Shore or Ultimate Fighter. But instead of reconfiguring our writing team, we're just going to take wrestling out of our name. And if Tyra Banks calls us, we've taken the wrestling out of our name. So yes, now we can have the WWE Fashion Show and tap into just about anything and everything non-wrestling related, mind you, that we want. Because it's apparent that wrestling isn't what it used to be. We have no inclination to make it what it used to be, even though we have all the resources and the money. But let's just see what else we can tap into, because I mean, if this doesn't solidify that this move is not fighting for wrestling, I mean, they'll have success. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that they won't for a second. But you more or less say that, again, we know wrestling's not what it used to be. We have no inclination of changing it. So let's just see what else we can tap into outside of the wrestling perspective. And I don't think it's a good move. I don't think it's going to save wrestling. I think just WWE saying that it wants to pick up other entertainment companies in and out of the ring related, that's a dead giveaway. You want to be more than a wrestling company. And I made the joke last night. I was watching WrestleMania 20, I believe, with the Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit triple threat, which I called it Retro Night last night. That was pretty fun. Maybe I'll recap some of that. But, yeah, I don't see good things coming from this. I think it's an excuse to do away with the wrestling and go into everything else. And I don't think that's what you should be focusing on. I think you should focus your resources on making your storytelling and your writing worth an audience following week to week, and then at the end of a 3 to 4 week process, buying a pay-per-view. What happened to build up and execution? I mean, this almost says, we're going to forget about the build up. We're going to give you minimal execution and barely scrape by with our pay-per-views. I'll go into detail on that in a minute. But moving on to some TNA news, Eric Bishoff says he's still mad at Jeff Hardy for the Victory Road disaster. 1 month removed from TNA's Victory Road pay-per-view in March, TNA executive Eric Bishoff says he's still upset with Jeff Hardy following his behavior in the main event TNA title match against Sting. Quote, "I shouldn't be and I can't understand why I feel the way I feel, therefore I certainly can't explain it, but I'm still angry at Jeff Hardy," Bischoff said on Monday Night Mayhem radio show this week. Quote, "So it's hard for me to discuss what I think he could do or should do in the future," and referring to the future, his future in TNA, "because until I quit being angry at him about this situation, whatever would come out of my mouth would probably be counterproductive." Later in the interview, Bischoff expressed frustration with Hardy again when asked why viewers should give TNA another chance with the Lockdown pay-per-view on Sunday after the event at Victory Road. Bischoff basically said the last 6 to 8 pay-per-views have not been, quote, great, and they were kind of average. Bischoff says the last pay-per-view was what it was, not because of any other reason than the piss poor judgment of one individual. Had that not occurred, people would have had a much more different opinion of that event. I mean, we all judged him, but maybe I'm contradicting in my last couple videos, but if he legitimately cleaned up, we could break it down and complain about it and analyze it and fuck around with it any way we want. But if he really got help, I mean, yeah, it'll always be there. The digs for the next 6 months to a year will always be, well, it took TNA long enough, and we can ride that out till the sun comes up next week. But if something productive came out of it and Jeff Hardy is in fact getting better, then isn't that what we wanted from the word go? I mean, when we get what we want, let's not break it down and make Bischoff out to be the bad guy. He knows Victory Road was piss poor. I'm sure Sting knows. Well, Sting's already commented he knows Victory Road was piss poor. He commented at Victory Road. But if something productive comes out of it, then I'll keep my mouth shut until something counterproductive comes out of it. If Jeff comes back on May 5th and you can clearly tell he just is still the way he was, then I think we can go right back on that bandwagon. But if you notice improvement, let's bitch when there's something to bitch about. 2 superstars following WrestleMania 27 were fined for the use of chair shots with the whole concussion prevention policy WWE apparently has. Triple H and The Undertaker were both fined for breaking the WWE's set policy by using folding metal chairs on one another. The WWE issues fines or suspensions, and it's kind of a joke because it'll always be fines for your top stars and suspensions for your Chris Masters. Sorry, Vince, but you threw him under the bus. So that's interesting. I just like the whole concept of Undertaker gets hit with the chair and he gets fined too. I mean, that's kind of like me going outside, getting shot, and you arresting us both. The person who shot me for shooting me and me for getting shot. It kind of doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. As we reported in the last video, last Friday, Kurt Angle pleaded guilty to a reckless driving charge. His sentence was to pay a $475 fine, serve 1 year of unsupervised probation, and undergo a chemical dependency evaluation test last Friday. He's smiling in his mugshots, this, that, and the other. So it's safe to say he's not taking any of this seriously. As stated in the April 12th video, wrestling talent Larry Sweeney passed away this past Monday. Details on that event: he died at the age of 29 and died as a result of committed suicide by hanging himself in a wrestling school. He battled depression for years. ROH has recently displayed a tribute video and asked for donations to mental illness research. Visit www.thresholds.org for further details on that. And just a quick thing, I'm not a medical professional, nor do I claim to be. A lot of people won't. Like Smart Wrestling Fan didn't Tuesday, the other night. I don't know if Wade Keller and his crew have pwtorch.com. But if you know someone battling depression, I've battled it myself, and there are a smorgasbord of medications. Some do and some don't work. And sometimes, lately, from personal experience, hell, just talk to somebody. You're not alone. And again, I'm not a medical professional, but I don't think there's any harm in saying you're not alone. Pick up your phone, call your friend. If your friend's truly a friend, he's going to listen to what you have to say. He's going to let you break down however you need to break down. And then he's going to give you the pieces to build. He or she's going to give you the pieces to build yourself back up. The key point being is, without playing Dr. Phil, if you need help, seek help. The thresholds.org is one. Google depression, and I'm sure there's 1,000 others. But there's many advancements in the field, and it's not something you have to live with anymore. So if you suffer from depression, please get help. And remember, you're not alone. The season finale of WWE Tough Enough will air on June 6, 2011. When Tough Enough comes to a close, WWE will fill the space by having 2 3-hour Raws. Those 3-hour Raws will air June 18th and June 20th of 2011, and they will fill the 8 to 9 time slot after the reality show comes to an end. In a bit of a show note correction, the report that June 18th, 2011 was the reported WWE draft, nothing's been confirmed on that, so we apologize for breaking that as news, and it would probably be one of your 3-hour events, and it's not something WWE wouldn't promote. But needless to say, from this coming Wednesday to the 24th, WWE will be in Europe, so the draft as projected on the 18th looks like it will not occur. We have not gotten any confirmation on that. We wanted to break it kind of naively to be the first out there to kind of put it out there, but we can't dispute the other facts that it's not a promotional event WWE wouldn't have taken advantage of. WWE later this year will tape its first Raw and SmackDown in Mexico later this year, so good to see them moving around. Correction. Superstar Billy Graham wants his name withdrawn from the WWE Hall of Fame after hearing that Abdullah the Butcher got inducted after having no career in WWE or WWF, claims that the Hall of Fame is fake and it's all, more or less, it's all about money, and does not want his name associated with that, and wishes for his name to be withdrawn. So we'll give you more news as that projects. It's been announced that the WWE once known Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view will be renamed WWE Capital Punishment, as it's to air in Washington, D.C., the state capital, the capital of the world. And once you set it in Washington, D.C., and you're going to spell capital that way, I think it's safe to say that Washington, D.C. is going to be its home. Just a hunch, as concurred with on smartwrestlingfan.com and pwtorch.com. And finally, in your wrestling news, ROH announces its main event for its next event will be the Kings of Wrestling versus American Wolves 2. Details on that match available at pwtorch.com, and we'll report them as the news breaks. But as promised, we're going to discuss being able to call your career when you're still able to stand versus your Chris Benoit, your Lunas, your people that basically deal with addiction and are broken down. Partly their own fault, because anyone who used to work for just WWE, for example, can take treatment at WWE's expense at any time. All they have to do is ask for it. That is the one thing that kind of baffles me when you hear about these Jeff Hardys and Matt Hardy. I mean, we did it a couple of videos ago where Matt could have said, hey, WWE will pay for this, and you don't, and you have a problem. As your brother, I think you have a problem. But like I said, we could break that down. But in regards to Edge and being able to call it a career before your body makes you call it a career, basically before you die or before you're crippled. And that came out with the WWE's press release on the 12th, the 11th or 12th, and it just, you can't help but concur with it. When, even though we discussed these last couple videos, I think it's naive for us to judge it, because outside of the schedule, take away the schedule, somebody says you're going to work 3 to 5 days a week, you're going to make millions upon millions, but you need to tell us when enough's enough. Well, I don't think many people can do that. Because in reality, from our 9 to 5s and what have you, we would probably be hesitant on calling it a career when we look at the money we're making and look at the amount of work we're doing. I mean, not to say that the schedule is not grueling, because it is, but it's not all wrestling. And you think about, you're making like pro athlete money. Hell, any sport. How quick would you be to say, okay, I've made enough, I'm done, especially if you love the business for the business, as most of them do. Edge came from tag team to world heavyweight status after not many people would think he would escape his tag team career. He made quite a name and got to be liked. But it comes full circle when you can praise people like The Rock and Edge. Edge more or less said, with WWE kind of reinforcing it, but Edge more or less said that he knows he can't go anymore, and WWE just elaborated on that point by saying they won't let him go anymore. So whether he wanted to retire or not, legally they can't have him perform anymore because it may be his last match. But I do think it takes a lot of guts to come in, and I never see anything wrong with it, really. It's not a sarcastic, I think they have guts or anything like that. But it's a safe way of thinking. Come in, or any sport you're in, football, professional football, hockey, basketball, etc., you name it. You come in, you make your money, you've made your money, you've made your career more times than one, and you leave with your money and your health. I don't see a problem with that. Many people call Rock a sellout, in ways he is and in ways he isn't. But why wouldn't you want to leave this business with your health, your sanity, and not be, I mean, not to throw stones, but to not be a Scott Hall, to not be broken and still trying to do it, be on 10 medications, having convulsions in a ring, and still think you can perform. Finding bigger things to complain about than top rope entertainment or productions, using the only footage they had of you for an upcoming internet pay-per-view, which we later found they were recording the internet pay-per-view and it was exactly as I reported. It's the only footage they have, and Scott Hall was their headliner. So I go back to defending the independent promoter. What's he supposed to do? Sit there and wait for Hall to get better, come out and pay for video shooting, Scott Hall's appearance, editing, publishing, and all that over again when he has video that apparently is, up until the incident where Hall had to be removed, is obviously marketable. I doubt any promoter would be using material that didn't work, but obviously some of it works if the promoter's using it. And I defend my stance 2 days ago, if that, or hell, it was in the video before last, the WrestleMania recap. if that's the only video you have, then it's your own damn fault. I mean, look at how old he is. He should throw in the towel. He did what I've always preached is a counterproductive measure, and I think you're going to see with your Mick Foley's and your Ric Flairs, where yes, they were known as legends, but they didn't let it die there. They keep going, even though they shouldn't. Even though it doesn't look appealing to watch Ric Flair bleed all the time. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, name a washed up wrestler in TNA and I'll give you a reason why they shouldn't be around. Because, and just to touch on it, if they came out of retirement and did a one and done, no one could blame them. But it's basically people coming out of retirement to jumpstart careers that you've wound up disgracing the positive you've done, because all you have is this current negative stuff that we keep, that multiple shows outside of mine, and including mine, review. It's not like you did a one and done, thanks for the memories. It's you left, you got your Hall of Fame status, you got your recognition, and then you thought, I'm not done yet, or I'm bored. And you came back, and it's what I kind of fear, where people aren't going to notice your past good. They're noticing what Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and all of the above are doing right now. And I think for their safety, and there's rumors that Mick Foley may want to retire WWE, and if it's a one and done, that's great. But and Mick could write a new book, jokingly, but just to take it full circle, it's good to see that there are some people out there that know when to call it. And not to say that WWE didn't have an influence. It was more or less, it looked like it was proposed, call it a career because we're going to make you call it a career anyway. But anyway, however it came out, Rock, Edge, anybody that HBK, anybody that leaves, I don't think there would be any harm in letting Edge do what HBK does and come in and work storylines and help other wrestlers get over. But as long as there isn't any full contact wrestling or heavy hitting stuff like he used to do, I think he could have an appearance-based career with WWE and still be able to put the other guys over and keep his name out there. I argued it with the Hulk Hogan thing. Hulk Hogan, before he came back to TNA, had sponsorships. If you're Edge, I think this is the next best thing. If you still want to do something, because sitting at home with all your money, there's only so much you can do, but you still want to do something, get sponsorships where you record a segment, you drink some energy water, and they pay you hundreds of thousands for your appearance and give you a lifetime supply of whatever you're pushing. Not your wrestling career, but still a way to generate money and keep yourself relevant while keeping yourself healthy. Versus, let's go on national TV, barely pull a 1.2 and give you a program that week to week makes absolutely no sense, involving legends that have overstayed their welcome in the legends category, if you ask me. But that's for another show, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman. Feel free to visit our online forums at WrestleTalkShow.webs.com. There you can interact with the online forum. Click on the donate button. Donate as little or as much as you can to the show. Donations will help us increase the production value of the show so we can do things like web hosting and all that nice stuff and kind of give you a more technical perspective. But I also like the down home feel of this, just recording a video and posting it for the world. There's something to be said about simple. Visit this video as well as the 100 plus videos that YouTube archived at youtube.com/CWE Company. This video will be available within the hour on our YouTube channel. And if you cannot donate anything, interact with the forums, send show-related emails to cwecompany@gmail.com. The next best thing to donations is word of mouth. Help us get our subscribers up. Help us get our page views up. As we reported 2 days ago, from the end of March into April, we're noticing an increase in viewership. So we hope that viewership becomes solid subscribers. We're at 38 subscribers now. We encourage everyone that watches the video to subscribe to the channel. And whether you do or don't, remember to like and comment on the video. It helps us for next time. We want to thank all the positive feedback we got for our April 12th edition of Wrestle Talk Show, as well as every other edition. Your input means everything. Visit our friends at pwtorch.com Monday through Friday. And Smart Wrestling Fan, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, every Tuesday night at smartwrestlingfan.com. Their name is their address. And until next time, we hope you enjoyed the show, ladies and gents. I'm off to post-produce. Have a great day.